Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from SethMarkwood.com.
Together, the three of us, that's you and the two of us, we're Markwood Ben's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again. Good morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer.
So, as I was saying last week,
Yeah,
I'm a hypocrite.
I know.
But first,
Why this time?
let's smoke something. What do you got?
Today we're smoking Casey Jones's Heroes Blend. This is from
Scott Stewart.
From Erie, PA.
We smoked a previous tobacco from Scott on day 11 of Tobacco Advent 2018, and he was kind enough to send along a couple samples. So, as you recall, we went through like the first 10 days with single samples.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine. That's all we asked for, but that was so different than last year where we had a lot of multiples.
We had like 3 here. Yeah.
And we thought, we're going to get close to the end and not have enough tobacco. And then one after another had multiples. So
Yep.
we definitely made it through and had some extras to go here.
But at this point, now that we are out of the first run of Tobacco Advent, we're going to smoke in other pipes, right?
Yeah. I've got a kernel here.
Got a Rusticob.
Yeah, mine's a Rusticob too.
What?
So this one is Casey Jones Heroes Blend, a vanilla aromatic, very similar to Wayne 1Q in his opinion. But opinions do vary, as we know, so we'll see. That's a good sound.
I'm definitely
That's a lot more vanilla than Wayne 1Q.
in the immediate flavor profile. I can see the resemblance though. All right.
Okay, so how am I a hypocrite?
Is that question for me or is that hypothetical?
Rhetorical.
Rhetorical?
You know, if you've ever read Rules for Radicals, one of the rules for radicals to use against your enemy is to make your enemy live up to their expectation of everyone else. Right? So if they're out there on the streets preaching something, hold them up to that same standard. And if they fall short of that standard, boy, you just drive it home.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that I am so two-faced in some areas. And it was revealed to me this week yet again. Let me give you just some extreme examples. For example, I am the eternal optimist. I am very, very, what's the word? People that have the Pollyanna.
Mm-hmm.
Looking on the bright side of life. I always hey, well, so the refrigerator doesn't fit in the space that it's supposed to fit in, but hey, at least you have a refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
At least your food's not going bad. And things like that. But at the same time, I find myself also being hyperly critical of some things. Now, how can that be? How can I be both super happy most days, and then at the same time? So one of the examples of this is I got on an airplane a couple weeks ago to fly to San Antonio, Texas for a funeral. And I get on the plane, and as I get to my seat is covered in crumbs. It was like maybe even somebody sat on a cookie and didn't know it, didn't clean it up, and the ground crew who was cleaning didn't clean it up either. Posted a picture of it on Instagram. Okay, I didn't tag Delta, though it was Delta. I didn't tag anybody on the ground crew. I didn't say anything about the airport that I was leaving from, anything like that. But I had somebody comment saying basically, shame on you for calling out the ground crew so they missed your seat. Just wipe the seat off. And you know what? You should be blaming the slob that sat there and made the mess, not the people that were supposed to clean it. And yeah,
You should blame them too.
But
But
it was one of those things that just hit me that day. where I wasn't happy-go-lucky Scott. I was more, I'm going to melt this snowflake Scott. Right? Scott, the Scott Markwood definition of snowflake and social justice warrior, right? The social justice warriors are those people who get offended on someone else's behalf. You know, I'm a white dude, and I can't believe how badly they treated that Chinese girl. We should all be upset that that Chinese girl was treated so poorly. Can you believe how badly she was treated, right? And social justice warriors tend to take someone else's case upon them. I don't think it's all bad. It's great that we've got each other's back, but there's a point where, okay, you've made your point, let's let it go. Well, no, you know how badly they treated that little Chinese girl, right? That just, to me, just let it go. And then the snowflakes are those folks that themselves are offended by things that were never meant to be offensive, right? And again, there are things that you can take offense at that historically were meant in a different way than they are taken today, right? But it just hit me that this guy was basically telling me, the guy that paid for the ticket, that I was wrong, and that the person who was paid to clean and who didn't clean should not be called out. And again, I didn't tag them, I didn't call them out. I was posting the picture as the joys of travel. Those of you, who are jealous of my travel, this is what I contend with, right? It was about me. What was me? So it's funny because there are days where I take the burden of the downtrodden and feel bad for those folks and try to cheer them up, and then there are days where I say, you've got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Enough of this whining, right? So here again, let me give you another example of where I'm two-faced and hypocritical. I was working for Shopsmith back in the 80s and in the 90s, and in the mid 80s, their tool got knocked off in Taiwan. It turned out their patents had expired. Their patents had been gone for over 10 years. And there was even some question as to whether they owned them or not, because the company that patented them had gone out of business and then was resurrected and brought back to life. So, but it had been 10 years since the patents had expired anyway, and now these Taiwanese clones were coming in from Taiwan. And I remembered how bothered I was by that. How dare they do that? They're playing by the rules, right? They have every right to do what they're doing. And yet I was bothered because of my loyalty to the Shopsmith products, right? Another real life this week example. Pocket Monkey. Been carrying a Pocket Monkey for several years now. Patented in the United States, made in the United States. It's a very interesting little utility tool because it's only a millimeter thick. So compared to they're like the rectangular wallet tools that are just so difficult to sit on if they're in your wallet. And they're also sharp, where this one's not sharp, therefore it is TSA compliant. I learned the hard way. It's not TSA approved when I had one taken from me in Chicago. But the good folks at Zootility sent me a replacement. They said, don't make a habit of this. They're not warranted against the TSA, but they went ahead and sent me another one. I love this tool. Somebody sent me a message and said, hey, have you seen this? I can pick up a Pocket Monkey 3 for $5. There is a 3 for $5 Pocket Monkey. So I bought them knowing exactly what I was going to find, and that is these were made in China. And with the exception of the fact that the monkey's head is printed on here and not cut out of it, it is just about a one-for-one faithful reproduction. I'll hold this up. Look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
copy.
100%. It's just a straight-up copy. The Pocket Monkey has a hole that says this monkey is holy. Theirs also says this monkey is holy. It has almost all the same text on it.
Hang on.
Almost.
So I like this text. I don't know if you can see this. Get real close. Come on, come on, come on. More screwed her.
More screwed, huh?
SCREWDE.
Oh, it is a more screwed. Screwdy. Yeah. This one says grab another monkey. So it's like a barrel of monkeys kind of a monkey.
My other favorite is knock knock banana, knock knock orange, orange you glad for this peeler.
Which is not on the original one. They do have
This
orange
other one
peelers.
is just Hillops. The P is cut off.
The phone kickstand accepts all major credit
I saw
cards.
that. This monkey's holy. Yeah.
All right, so some of the text on it is different. Again, one of the things that they've done is they've gotten away with it being only a millimeter thick because they heat treat these after they produce them to make them rigid. And this one's, I thought maybe it would bend. It's not bending.
I mean, it definitely seems to be a faithful ripoff.
So I sent an email to the folks at Zootility, and I thought, this was on Amazon. This wasn't on Alibaba or any place like that. It was on Amazon.
Doesn't matter.
And I said, are these licensed? Are these, are they legit in any way? They said, no, they're copies, and there's nothing we can do about it. What do you mean there's nothing you can do about it? I said, well, they're made in China and blah, blah, blah. Their patent is a U.S. patent. They did not get a worldwide patent. So these are legal to be produced and sold everywhere. They should not be sold in America. So the leg that Zootility does have to stand on is they could sue or at least ask for the American company to stop selling them, right? So they shouldn't be available on Amazon Prime, basically, is what it boils down to.
Yeah, except that the American company is almost certainly drop shipping them directly from China.
No. Amazon Prime. Came in 2 days, shipped from the U.S.
All right. Wow.
And I could have the, okay,
What a deal!
I got the price wrong.
Go ahead and put the link down in the description.
I could have the price
It's a
wrong.
heck of a deal.
Let me double check that. I mean, maybe it was $7, right? Point is, brand new.
Pocket Monkey's
Pocket
what,
Monkey's 12
$12? Yeah.
Let me
I got the, I've talked before about the utility that I keep on my keyring.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an American
I don't know if this was a knockoff.
patent.
I don't know if this was knocked off or not. I bought this on AliExpress, I think. Maybe it was Amazon. I think it was AliExpress. It came in what appeared to be official packaging, but it was significantly cheaper than
Okay.
what I had originally paid.
$7.99 Amazon Prime. I
For
got
three?
three for $8.
Yeah.
So
I feel the same way. Different, a little bit different scenario, but hypocrisy. One of the things that I feel am most hypocritical about is when people get frustrated and really irritated, and sometimes even rude about just stupid, insignificant things. Sometimes that behavior really makes me irritated and frustrated and rude about that behavior.
right.
Right? And so I get frustrated at how frustrated they are over something so stupid. And that's one of those instances where I recognize the hypocrisy, because the thing I'm frustrated about is just as stupid as what they are
Yes.
frustrated about.
Well, okay, so in my interactions on Instagram, I was very careful because I like this guy. We've interacted for quite a while, right? I get the loyalty. Who knows? Maybe he works on airplanes. Maybe his mom vacuums airplanes. I don't know. I used to be a janitor.
Right.
Okay, way back in 2000. No, I'm sorry. Try it again. Way back in 1982, I was a janitor. And so I understand, but the problem is I understand that that person has a responsibility. That
Sure.
person agreed to do the task for the amount of money that they were being paid. Somebody else jumped in and said, well, they're not being paid right now. No, that's not true. They're not federal employees. The people that are working and cleaning the airplanes are not paid by the
they're
government.
private employees.
So
Just the TSA.
they absolutely are being paid. But again, my point being, I didn't mean to be rude to the person. They skipped my seat.
Right.
That happens, right? You're right. The guy that sat there before, maybe if they were aware of the mess, they absolutely were a pig. If they weren't aware, if they lost a cookie,
Yeah.
right? Then all right, maybe they're a little bit of a slob. Who knows? I wasn't judging them. It was about my experience I was judging. But my hypocrisy, that I'll admit to, is the fact that, like you said, my initial response was, I am going to flame this dude, right? Because he's wrong. And he's wrong on my feed and making a comment that is intentionally trying to make me look stupid and petty, right? But I took a breath every single time I replied. I replied way too many times. Felt I made my point,
Yeah.
but you know, sometimes when someone else isn't letting it go, I'm going to get the last word on my feed, by golly.
Yeah.
But here again, this bothers me. It bothers me because I am so loyal to this utility product. I love it.
Right.
It's their intellectual property.
Yeah.
It's only a couple years old, their patent. And
Yeah.
this is a faithful knockoff. And I now own 3 of them, or at least 2.
So what are you going to do with the 3 that you've owned?
I don't know. Keep them.
Yeah.
You want one?
Of course. Of course I do. I mean, we've talked about this before. Maybe it would be a conversation to continue into next week, because, you know, how is this different than the other times we've talked about buying things from China and knockoffs?
There's
et
the
cetera, et cetera.
hypocrisy I'm talking
Yeah.
about. No different.
Yeah.
No different. The difference is my loyalty to the original product, which is why I think that some of the people that have in the past have been offended by the fact that we would buy a knockoff of that expensive knife. They're loyal to the manufacturer of that knife. I get it. I get it. I don't know. Do I wish I weren't this way?
Yeah.
What do you think?
There's a lot more. Well, what I find more interesting, most interesting about the conversation and situation, and this is not about you. This is who we have become or are becoming as a society. Is the only reason to post that picture is for pity, when it would have taken just as little time to flag the flight attendant and ask them to correct the problem, and it would have been done, solved. They would have had opportunity for retribution.
But that's not as funny.
I know that. I know. It also wouldn't have led to the conversation in the first place. I mean, that's a symptom. I don't know a better word, but that's who we have become, or who we are becoming as a society with social media. Is it's more important for us to have the attention and the pity and the sympathy points of our situation than to recognize how easy it is to just make the situation better. I think we all fall into that. We want people to look at us and talk about us and feel certain ways about us. And so, I don't know.
Well, now I feel terrible.
Good.
I didn't call the flight attendant over. I brushed the stuff off on the floor. Unbelievable amount of crumbs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now it's even harder for the flight attendant to clean it up because it's on the floor.
Yeah, what I should have done is just sort of tossed him into the pocket in the seat in front of me, right?
What I always do. Yeah.
Boy, do I have horror stories about stuff in the pockets, let me tell you.
Yeah, don't
But
put
that
anything
is
valuable in the
that
pocket.
is for another episode. All right. Hey, thanks for your time. Give us your comment below. What do you think? I mean, yes, I already know I'm a hypocrite, but would that have bothered you? Should I have tagged somebody? Should I have just let it go? I don't know.
I think it's tobacco.
I'm going to delete every negative comment.
Excellent.
I don't do. Yeah, maybe.
What do you think of tobacco?
It's good.
Yeah, I liked it. It's good. Something light. Getting back into the swing of things.
I didn't get to smoke enough of it.
No,
Well, I was yapping.
I smoked all of mine.
I was yapping.
Yeah, I know. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you next week.
Make it a great week.
Yeah.